Where to go?
Thank you. What's your name?
Casey Jones.
What's that?
Casey Jones?
Stacy Moans?
Oh.
Casey Jones.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows.
Yes.
How did you first get involved in the film?
I had a meeting with the director, Dave Green, in January of 2015. I was actually in New York to do press for Arrow, and we were speaking very generally about the Turtles and just the franchise in general, where it was going, and he wasn't being very specific at all. And actually, my wife joined the conversation maybe 3/4 of the way through, and he was chatting for a second, and she went, "Is this for Casey Jones?" And because she's a big fan, and it was. And then I was hesitant to audition and put myself on tape simply because I didn't think that it was going to fit into my hiatus schedule from Arrow. And when I found out that it did, I moved very quickly.
How much did you know about the character already? I mean, were you a fan growing up?
I was a fan growing up. I watched the cartoons, but mostly I was actually into the live action movies that came out in the early 90s. And of course, Casey Jones was a prominent part of the first and the third one of those. So I knew a lot about the Turtles. And then, you know, being in the Arrow world and the fan convention world, you see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles merchandise everywhere all the time. So, and then of course the first movie. So I knew it was still incredibly popular.
Oh boy. We gotta go now. We only have a 30-second window. You know the plan.
Dudes?
What?
He jumped.
He jumped!
All right, one for all.
Wait, you don't have a shoot!
I don't need to shoot. I got my board! Oh, this is awesome! Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Gotcha! What would Vin Diesel do? No regrets, no fear!
Is he coming in kind of fast?
I mean, how was it physically making the thing? Because obviously what we see is probably looks very different from what you see with the amount of mocap and things that must go on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a challenging element. So my scenes with the Turtles, it's kind of trial by fire for me. The first scene that I shot, which is not Casey's first scene of the movie, is me meeting the Turtles for the first time. So you have to get used to it because you're speaking to these ping pong balls that are, you know, yay far above their head, so you can't look them in the eye. My parents taught me to look people in the eye, right? So you get used to it. It's just like anything else. You just have to commit, and you have to trust that you're not gonna look stupid when it all comes out.
Obviously, Casey's pretty good with his hockey stick. I know you play a bit and are a fan. Did you have to brush up on his skills? I
did have to brush up a little bit. It had been a minute since I had. It had been a minute since I had actually played proper hockey, but I spent some time, and then of course, you know, learning how to fight and crafting a fight with a hockey stick was, you know, we did it, and there you go.
We got bogeys on the bus. Okay, hit the button.
What button? There are a million buttons.
Number three.
Three.
We got company.
Mikey, clear our right flank.
Nunchucks Giganticus! Say hello to my little friend!
Good job, Mikey. Those things are pretty awesome, huh?
And how were the rest of the cast to work with, Megan and Will Arnett and people like that?
Well, Megan and Will were fantastic. You know, what a lot of people haven't seen in the previews is the work that I do with Laura Linney, which was actually some of my favorite stuff in the film. She's a real, I'm a huge fan of hers and her work. So getting to work with her and pick her brain a little bit was exceptional.
And finally, what have you got coming up next? Just back to Arrow and other things?
Just back to Arrow, and then a year from now, you know, another Turtles could be going on, depending on how this one does. And depending on, of course, Casey Jones' involvement, he's not in the title of the film, so he doesn't have to be in it. But my cousin and I are also going to be working on a feature called Code 8.
Are you two guys like a thing?
I'm looking for errand boys. But we could work with that.
Me too. This is gonna be good!
Dude, bringing back the mohawk. Good for you.
Oh, y'all got jokes, huh? Why are we going with the turtles? When something bad happens, you want to be with the turtles.